Welcome to Tech Topics brought to you by Cybervenger. We help keep small businesses stay protected and compliant with cutting-edge cybersecurity and IT solutions.
Hello everyone, my name is Andy, the managing consultant for Cyberventure. Today I want to talk about what is going on over at Lurie Children's Hospital in Chicago. According to their own website, they experienced a cybersecurity matter, and they have taken down systems in accordance with their disaster recovery and emergency response procedures, so on and so forth. So all of the publicly spoken about press releases and things like that I can find are pretty vague about what's going on. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we know for sure and what we can reasonably speculate. This is not wild accusations, wild guesses. I want to come up with some pretty solid guesses, and I want to talk about what we know for sure, and I want to make sure I label the two appropriately. If you don't, that's how rumors start, right? So what I've heard is, first of all, they were down starting, the incident occurred on January 31st, is now, at the time of this recording, it is now February 9th. So that's been going on for more than a week. This is a pretty big deal to be down that long, especially an organization as large and well-known as Lurie Children's Hospital. Most hospitals, or larger organizations will have a disaster recovery plan. Their whole building can burn down, and they'll be up and running within 24 hours. It's a common failover, maybe 48, maybe 72. I suspect something much more sinister than simply just being compromised. Of course, my speculation is that it's ransomware. Most people are speculating that they've been hit with some kind of ransomware attack. It's a common thing going around. It's happened to a lot of places. It is sort of the de facto kind of hack that happens everywhere now. It's very popular because it makes money and it does a lot of damage. So what we also know is that we know patient scheduling systems are down. I've heard, I talked to people who were working in the hospital. They said that they can't get to Epic, or they can't get to the EDR. I think Epic is what they're using. Don't quote me 100% on that, but I'm 90% sure it's Epic. Epic is an electronic medical record system that's extremely common in larger hospitals. I've worked with it in a number of places. I myself have had personal experience, previous job, working for North Rush Horror Hospital and Presence at the time, which is now then Amida, and now somebody else. I keep getting bought. But the way it kind of works typically is a hospital will have their EDR, EMR, their electronic medical record system. Very commonly Epic. All of those hospitals I mentioned have all run Epic. And then other doctor's offices, like a foot clinic or a nasal specialist or ear specialist, anything like that, that's an independent practice, will work with the hospital by using their system. They will launch what's called remote desktop systems services, and they'll connect to Epic, running and executing inside of the system on the hospital, and that's how they're able to interact and upload medical records back and forth between their own practice. And they just directly enter it right there. So some places have, their own medical record systems like a Prima or eClinical Works or something like that. And sometimes they can sync data back and forth, but usually it's kind of a double entry sort of thing. And when they do that, it's accessed through terminal services, and they'll sometimes get an entire window on their desktop with a start button and all the programs there. Sometimes they'll get just an icon on their desktop. They double click it, it launches. Looks like it's running locally. It's not. It's sending keyboard strokes out to their server and getting screen updates back. It's total remote control, which is good from a security standpoint because the data never really ends up on the private practices side. It stays in the hospital. It's good for compliance. It's good for security. It's not a bad way to go. That system is reportedly all down, at least from the reports I've seen. Again, I don't work there, so I can't tell you for sure, but I'm pretty sure Epic is down. And then they've been calling certain patients and canceling their scheduling. So we know that. On their website, they said that not all appointments have been canceled. And they said, yes, you continue to bring your kid in for treatment, even if, despite all of this, as long as you haven't been called to cancel. Now, I don't know, maybe everybody got called. The website that I read was a little cagey about details, and of course they're doing PR damage control, right? So they're going to try and gloss things over, spin things in the best light that they can. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you do as an organization. You don't want to purposely make yourself look worse, right? But you have to read between the lines. So a little speculation, I believe they got hit with ransomware. I believe that the ransomware was probably bot-driven and just dug around and found everything it could. And the attackers might not have even known it was a children's hospital. At least I really hope not. I hope this was a bot attack. They let their stuff loose on the internet, found a way in, and bada bing. If this was a targeted attack, there is just a special circle in hell for people that would do that to a children's hospital intentionally. Even still, at this point, whoever launched the attack should have just given them the keys. It's a hospital. You back off, right? Have some kind of human decency. But no. And that's important for people to remember, that these are the kind of folks you deal with in ransomware. This is why you never want to pay the ransom. You never want these people to make money if you can help it. Now, in the case of Lurie Children's Hospital, perhaps they have a ransom. Maybe they have no way to recover. I don't know. I can tell you that traditionally, even large IT organizations have a hard time getting a good security mindset when it comes to backups. If you want to be able to recover from a ransomware attack, specifically, you need to have your disaster recovery site where all your backups are, where all your spare computer hardware is, and all that stuff ready to run and boot up and come up. The same thing that you would do if your building burned down. In fact, I would say, again, more speculation, but good speculation. I would speculate that if Lurie Children's Hospital's data center burned down, they'd already be up and running just fine by now. Probably for several days. The problem is they don't defend the disaster recovery site from the production site. Oh, this is ours. Why? And we need to get data over here. Let's just leave it wide open. It's our stuff, right? It's not the internet. But if you design, so this is my lesson to everybody watching this video, when you design your disaster recovery, you should assume that your network, your production network, is compromised and therefore hostile. You should treat it like it's the internet. Most plain old IT guys, not even cybersecurity people, regular IT guys know that you can't just stick a server up on the internet, right? That's dangerous. They know to protect it. You got to think of your production network as the internet. Your disaster recovery system and your backups should be suspicious of every packet coming over, and really you'd want backup system that pulls data from your production rather than your production pushing data over there. Now, I don't know how Lurie's did their network. I can only guess in that regard. But there must have been some kind of opening from the internal network to the disaster recovery and backup system that affected this. And I think that's what happened. And it's a really, really common mistake. It's a philosophy that not a lot of people have. You got to be suspicious of your own internal people, your own internal systems. That's a hard sell. Especially, hospitals are always trying to cut costs, and they don't have money, tons of money to throw at cybersecurity. I see this thing all the time. In fact, I've seen a lot of private practices that will have, doctors' offices, and they're stretched too. And sometimes you look over in the corner of your eye, you can see what looks like a Windows 7 style start button. And it's like, oh my God, are they still running Windows 7? Stuff like that. Yeah, hospitals and doctors' offices are not always as secure as we like to think they are. But it's hard to know what kind of sophistication you have going on in the attack and what's happening. I can say this, though. Data exfiltration is a new add-on to ransomware that's becoming increasingly common. Data exfiltrations, where the bad guys don't just encrypt the hard drive so that you can't get to the data and then ransom it back. That's traditional ransomware. They also take a copy of the data and upload it to their servers. Once that happens, you can never prevent the attacker from not having that data. They can back it up however they want. They can move it wherever they want. They can sell it to whomever they want. They can do whatever they want with it. If you think about the kind of data that's going to be stored in a children's hospital database, all the medical records, every disease, genetic information, billing information for the patients, insurance information, it goes on and on and on. This is a terrible thing that happened. I really hope it has not been a data exfiltration attack. Maybe they're trying to prevent that sort of thing. I've done a lot of breach remediation. I've worked with companies, and the first thing you do is cut the internet off and shut things down, and you slowly bring a piece back up at a time and try to verify that it's clean as best you can. But at the end of the day, it's almost impossible to catch every possible backdoor. So maybe that's why they're shut down, because they know the data is so precious, and once it's gone, they can never get back. Here's hoping, right? Maybe they're just taking their time verifying there are no backdoors, because you could set a backdoor to just idle for months and then turn itself on at a later date, and then the hacker can get back in. That's one of the reasons I suggest to people that when they get a full breach like this, that they just start with the scorched earth approach. Burn it all down, start from scratch, the greenfield approach, and you build out secure one piece at a time. You recover the data and just the data, none of the actual systems. Maybe that's what they're doing here. I don't know. It's speculation, right? But I bet you it's been a ransomware attack. It's just too common. You've seen, unfortunately, people target hospitals before. And it's a tragedy that someone would do that, but humans, right? Humans are going to human. So, I mean, in terms of other intelligent speculations, it's a little hard to say. I will give you some actionable advice if you have a child that's a patient at Lurie's hospital. Everybody over there is overworked right now. The nurses are down to pen and paper. I've heard that from a couple of people there. Doctors, think about the stress level. Now it's day 9, right? That's a lot of time to be under that kind of stress. People make mistakes when they're under stress. If you have the option, you might not want to go to Lurie's for a little while until they straighten this stuff out. I mean, they're a great hospital, great organization. I don't mean to bash them, but I mean, I've been under disaster situations. I've seen what affects people. Their judgment goes to pot. They make dippy mistakes. Who knows how well they're pacing themselves and cycling through their IT people. Their network admin may be living on 2 hours sleep a night for the last week, for all we know. If you think about the human costs, you may want to go elsewhere for the short term, if you have the option, right? Just my 2 cents on that piece of it. And then if your child has data, you probably want to look into locking their credit, monitoring their credit in some way. Once the data's gone, it's gone, right? What can you really do? But there are things you can do. You can be a little more vigilant. You can be suspicious of any emails you get in the future. I could see email campaigns being used like, okay, your kid has this particular disease. Who would know that, right? Except the legitimate doctor. And then that doctor emails you asking for whatever information or complaining about payments. Hey, you got to pay for this particular surgery. And that's really an attacker that's trying to trick you into giving them money or information. So be on the lookout for that kind of thing. Be a little extra vigilant and extra, suspicious of things. That's really all I got. At least until I have more information, I will probably make a follow-up video when they get back online or as I find out more information about what actually happened. It'd be nice to kind of see what my speculation, how my speculation compares to what ends up coming out, if anything ends up coming out. So we'll see about that, and I'll post a video then. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. We hope this video has provided valuable information to you. Be sure to share this video with other small business owners to spread the word about the importance of cybersecurity. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want more information about cybersecurity, visit us at www.cybervenger.com.